Namaskar. Hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I am Namrata Singh and you are watching Question Hour. The show focuses on questions raised by members in both houses of parliament concerning matters of national interest. In the Rajya Sabha, members from various parties posed questions related to 10 ministries and sought responses from the respective ministers. Similarly, in the Lok Sabha, members from diverse parties raised questions pertaining to 18 ministries and sought responses from the respective ministers. Now, let's take a look at some of the questions whose replies were presented today. Rajya Sabha member Kartikeya Sharma asked the Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship the ministry's roadmap to prepare country's workforce for the challenges and opportunities presented by Industry 4.0 with the sector-wise details thereof. The ministry in its reply informed the House that under Skill India mission, skill, reskill and upskill training is delivered through an extensive network of skill development centers, institutes under various schemes like Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Jan Shiksha Sansthan, National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme and Craftsman Training Scheme through industrial training institutes to all the sections of the society across the country. The Skill India mission aims to enable the youth of India to get future ready and equipped with industry-relevant skills. In order to promote skill development as per the opportunities and challenges presented by India 4.0, MSDE has inter alia taken following measures. Under PMKVY, the New Age Future Skills job roles have been specially aligned with Industry 4.0 requirements in areas like AI and ML, robotics, drone technology, etc. for upcoming market demand and industry requirements. 29 New Age or Future Skills courses have been introduced in industry training institutes and national skill training institutes under CTS to provide training in emerging areas such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, semiconductor, etc. Skill India Digital Hub has been launched as a comprehensive and accessible platform for skill enhancement, job opportunities and entrepreneurship. It supports Industry 4.0 by offering futuristic courses provided by its digital learning partners. Indian Institute of Skills, established at Ahmedabad and Mumbai in public-private partnership mode, aims to cultivate an industry-ready workforce for Industry 4.0, equipped with cutting-edge technology and hands-on training across a range of trades, including factory automation, artificial intelligence, data analytics, and additive manufacturing. The ministry informed that it has taken various initiatives to foster and promote an entrepreneurial ecosystem through interventions to build entrepreneurial mindset and capabilities. These are encouraged through autonomous institutes such as National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development, Noida, and Indian Institute of Entrepreneurship, Guwahati. Lok Sabha MP Rajiv Rai asked the Minister of New and Renewable Energy whether several schemes are being run by the government to promote solar energy across the country.
सोलर एनर्जी प्रमोट करने के लिए मंत्रालय ने, सरकार ने बहुत स्कीमों के द्वारा ये प्रयास चलाया है कि सोलर एनर्जी बढ़े और पावर के ऊपर जो हम डिपेंड है तो सोलर एनर्जी के ताकत से हम आहिस्ते आहिस्ते जो हमारे प्रॉब्लम है तो प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने में सक्षम हो। माननीय सांसद जी ने जो प्रश्न पूछा है, अब तक जो 6 स्कीमें हमने तैयार की है और जैसा सांसद जी ने कहा है, हम निश्चित तौर से पहले इसकी जो कॉस्ट आती थी कम से कम पर यूनिट 6 रुपये के ज़्यादा कॉस्ट आती थी, अब हम कम से कम 2-2.5 इस पर रुपये जो पर यूनिट 2.5 रुपये पर आ गए हैं। और जैसा जैसा नया रिनोवेशन यहाँ हो रहा है उस तरह से हमारी कॉस्ट भी कम हो जाएगी, ताकि हम जैसा माननीय सदस्य ने कहा कि हम एक कॉस्ट तरह के इसमें हम कम कॉस्ट में बिजली दे पाएंगे। हम भारत इस सोलर एनर्जी में आत्मनिर्भर हो इसके लिए स्कीम भी तैयार की हुई है ये PLI जो स्कीम है, तो ये ऐसे स्कीम है कि जो खुद एनर्जी बनाए, पावर बनाए, और अब तक ये स्कीम अच्छी तरह आगे गई नहीं है, और इसके लिए कई सरकार ने अब तक कोई कुछ भी पैसा नहीं दिया है।
Rajya Sabha member Sant Balbir Singh asked the Minister of Education the key objectives and implications of the Bhasha Sangam initiatives in schools and its role in promoting language learning and cultural exchange. The features and resources the Bhasha Sangam mobile app offer for language learning and the manner in which technology and AI can be integrated into language learning initiatives to enhance their effectiveness. The ministry in its reply informed the House that Bhasha Sangam has been implemented across the country as a part of Ek Bharat Shreshth Bharat program. The objectives of Bhasha Sangam are to familiarize students with all the 22 Indian languages of the 8th schedule of the Indian Constitution, to foster linguistic harmony among students and promote national integration through learning of languages, and to bring students close to the unique cultural hues and diversity of our country through languages. The Bhasha Sangam initiative aims to make the students aware about the unique cultural, ethnic and linguistic diversity of our country. The House was further informed that the Bhasha Sangam app has 100 plus sentences of everyday use in 22 scheduled Indian languages. Sentences have been designed on different themes that allow people to learn basic conversation in any scheduled language of India. These themes vary from greetings to travel and shopping, with basic questions and their answers being presented in a simple way. The application has more than 3.4 lakh downloads on Androids and iOS, and over 10,000 certificates have been generated across the country. Furthermore, the National Educational Alliance for Technology and Study Webs of Active Learning for Young Aspiring Minds platforms, which focus on online education and digital learning, are central to the NEP's vision of integrating technology in education. These platforms can be used to offer content in multiple languages, providing students across the country with easy access to quality learning resources in their preferred language. Educational material promoting Indian languages, art and culture is disseminated through PM, eVidya DTH channels and digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing, offering content in 101 Indian languages. An AI-based platform, Anuvadini, has been developed to facilitate multilingual translation and remove language barrier, with an aim that every student or learner is able to utilize knowledge available in different languages. Lok Sabha member KM Sudha R asked the Department of Atomic Energy the number of nuclear and atomic power plants in the country and their capacity, state and unit-wise, along with the capacity utilization and power output. She also asked the number of atomic power plants under construction in the country.
This issue of the power share has been deliberated upon very extensively, not only within the Department of Atomic Energy, but more so with the Department of Power, the Ministry of Power, Renewable Energy. And the earlier formula, which was known as Gadgil formula, made only about 15 to 20% of the electricity available for the home state where it was being generated. In fact, that was revised, and as of today, 50% of the electricity is available to the home state, 35% to the neighboring states in the region, and 15% is unallocated, which goes to the grid. And that has been, by and large, accepted as a consensus formula for all these states and the union territories of the country. And considering the concept of one nation and whole of government, I think that's in the true federal spirit as well. It is just that one of the projects has been on hold in Rawalpeta, so that's why maybe the numerical difference that she is pointing out is there. But overall, she would be glad to know that Kundakalam is one project which had been envisaged somewhere around 1990. It was repeatedly visited, revisited, but it was only after 2014, when Prime Minister Modi ji took over, that it has been made functional. And now we have 4 units of Kundakalam made functional, so also Kalpakam. And the unique features of all these power generation capacities is that over the last 10 years, because I'm not speaking on my behalf, I'm speaking through the figures and through the statistics. In 2014, when this government came, the total power generation capacity of India was 4,780 megawatts, which has almost doubled now. In 2024, it is 8,180. So what was the capacity developed in the last 60 years is equal to the capacity developed in the last 10 years. Not only so, if we proceed by the same pace, our future projections reflect that by 2031-32, this generation capacity would increase 3 times from today, equal to 22,480 megawatt, and therefore this has been possible because we had the talent, we had the equipment, we had the capacity. But what was lacking perhaps was the enabling milieu, which is provided by the political leadership, and that happened after 2014. There was a number of decisions taken, like bulk approval of 10 reactors, like extra allocations, like decision to have joint ventures with PSU, and also involvement of the private sector in a very limited manner, of course. But all this has, and we have diversified, not only confined atomic energy to generation of the energy, but as Homi Baba rightly pointed out at the time of inception, that India's nuclear program will be dedicated to peaceful purposes, because at that time there was some controversy. Hiroshima had just happened, and today we are living up to that vindication under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. Atomic energy is being extensively utilized in agriculture sector. Even for mutagenesis, we have produced 70 mutagenic crops with the intervention from atomic energy. We have fortified foods. In health sector, we are among the first in the world to have come up with a new set of series of isotopes which are being used in the treatment of cancer. And similarly, in the defense sector, through the atomic energy processes, we have come out with cost-effective, lightweight, bulletproof jackets. These are just a few examples, otherwise it will go on for the whole day. Amount of construction that has been completed, amount of it left. The exact date lines don't happen because sometimes in the process of the construction of the project, some of the imponderables come in. Sometimes we are expanding, there are land acquisition issues, sometimes there are forest clearance issues, sometimes the equipment is to be procured from another country. So it's not easy to give up an exact date, but we have 9 under construction projects, and with a total of 40, we have, some of them are in the pre-project stage. Pre-project stage means that the construction has not per se started, but it is in the process of clearances being obtained, the procedural works being accomplished. So that is how we have categorized it into 2 parts in the answer.
Rajya Sabha member Neeraj Dangi asked the Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship the objectives of the Skill on Wheels scheme by government. The ministry in its reply informed the House that Skill on Wheels program has been introduced to foster collaborations between public and private sector and drive innovation and growth in India's skill development ecosystem. It promotes partnership with the private organization under their corporate social responsibility initiative. The program is being implemented in 6 states, namely Bihar, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh. It is designed to empower India's youth, ensuring access to skill and development training in remote corners of the country. Furthermore, a World Bank loan-assisted scheme, skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion has been implemented, which aims to enhance quality and scale of short-term skill training by strengthening institutions, improving market connectivity, and promoting the inclusion of marginalized sections of society. Under Sankalp, state incentive grants are provided to states and union territories for skill development interventions aligned to their specific needs. Under this scheme, states such as Assam, Bihar, Karnataka, Nagaland, Sikkim and Tamil Nadu are implementing interventions such as Mobile Skill Van and Skill Yatra with the objective of bringing skill development initiatives to the doorstep of underserved and hard-to-reach communities. As part of the Skill on Wheels program, skill training have been provided in job roles like retail and in-store promoter, call center executive, outbound, inbound call, digital literacy and financial literacy. Under the Mobile Skill Van initiatives through Sankalp, skill trainings have been imparted in job roles covering self-employed tailoring, banking, plumbing, electrician, stone masonry and tilling, nano entrepreneurs, tire fitting and maintenance, and street food vending. Under these initiatives, demand-driven trainings are provided based on local requirements. These are implemented through short-term trainings and/or recognition of prior learning certification. In addition, awareness generation amongst youth on skill programs is undertaken and career counseling is provided to match the expectations of the youth with available career opportunities. Lok Sabha members Vishal Dada Prakash Bapu Patil and Adur Prakash asked the Minister of Electronics and Information Technology steps taken or being taken by government to upskill workforce in artificial intelligence governance and development to address challenges posed by rapid AI adoption, including potential job displacement.
Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji believes in democratizing technology. We have seen how some of the Congress leaders used to treat technology. They used to feel that technology cannot be used by the poor people. But in our case, Honorable Prime Minister has got the technology right into the hands of the poorest of the poor. And same is the case with the AI mission. So a very comprehensive India AI mission has been started, Honorable Speaker Sir, which has 7 pillars. And all these 7 pillars are very well thought through. The first pillar is creating AI compute facility. Second pillar is creating a skill framework. Third is to create startup financing. Fourth pillar is creating an innovation center. Fifth is about data sets platform. And the seventh platform is about creating new applications. And the last platform is about having a safe and trusted AI. The Honorable MP has raised the question how many people have got enrolled in the future skills. As on today, 8.6 lakh candidates have enrolled in AI in the future skills platform. And this is again a platform which has been created in collaboration with the industry. So the training which is given is very relevant to what the industry today needs. माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, ये मैं एक बार फिर दोहराना चाहूँगा कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने हमेशा टेक्नोलॉजी को डेमोक्रेटाइज करने का मिशन हाथ में लिया है और इसीलिए जो AI डेटा लैब्स बन रही है ये भी टियर 2 और टियर 3 सिटीज़ में बन रही है. अगर आप देखो उत्तर प्रदेश के गोरखपुर, लखनऊ, शिमला, औरंगाबाद, फिर महाराष्ट्र में औरंगाबाद, बिहार में पटना, बक्सर, मुजफ्फरपुर, एक तरीके से पूरी लिस्ट पूरे आंसर में आपको दी गई है. अध्यक्ष जी सदन के पटल पर भी रखी गई है. कोशिश ये है कि देश के टियर 2 और टियर 3 सिटीज़ में स्टार्टअप्स हो, AI लैब्स हो, 5G लैब्स हो, सेमीकंडक्टर की ट्रेनिंग की फैसिलिटीज़ हो, वो सारे के सारे एक कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड वे में नहीं रह के देश भर में फैले.
Well, that is all I have for you in this edition of Question Hour. Stay tuned and thank you for watching Sansad TV.